Hi, I'm Lisa. In this video, I would like to help you expand your English vocabulary so that you can communicate more effectively in English. I will teach you some advanced words that you can use instead of the word very. For example, instead of saying I was very tired, you could say I was utterly exhausted. Or instead of saying it was very difficult, you could say it was exceedingly difficult. In addition, I will give you many sample sentences so that you can use these words in many different situations. Also, we will practice some rules of English pronunciation so that you can feel more confident when you use these words in spoken language. Some people watching this video might be thinking, why do I need to learn big words? I don't need to impress other people. I can communicate in English using simpler words. Why is she teaching us these big words? It depends on your goals. Everybody has different goals related to English. If you only want to be able to have casual conversations, everyday conversations with people around you, maybe it's okay to just use simpler words. However, there are many advantages to having a rich English vocabulary. You'll be a more effective communicator. You'll be able to express your ideas clearly. And having a strong English vocabulary will help you in your professional success. A language researcher named Johnson O'Connor said, "A person's vocabulary level is the best single predictor of occupational success." And occupational success means professional success. Many people agree that success in the business world depends on your communication skills. And simply put, native speakers use these words. All right, let's get started with the words. The first word is woefully. Woefully is usually used for something negative. For example, instead of saying I was very unprepared for the test, you could say I was woefully unprepared for the test. Woefully comes from the noun woe, which means great sadness or trouble. When something is very bad, we use woefully. For example, woefully inadequate, woefully inefficient, woefully uninformed, woefully unprepared. You can talk about people's salaries and you can say, those employees are woefully underpaid. Or the school's textbooks are woefully out of date. And in Forbes magazine, I read this sentence. That country has woefully inadequate roads, telecommunications, and educational facilities. Let's say that one again. Woefully. The next word is exceedingly. Instead of saying you did very well in that class, you can say you did exceedingly well in that class. To exceed means to be superior or to be better than some kind of standard that already exists. You can say, this restaurant exceeded my expectations. Very often we use the word exceedingly like this. Exceedingly difficult, exceedingly complex, exceedingly rare, exceedingly smart. I also saw the word exceedingly in an obituary. An obituary is an article that's written about someone who has died. It describes their life. And the sentence said, he had a long and exceedingly happy career. And I read an online review that said, storage space in the cabins is exceedingly generous and well thought out. Let's say the sentence again. Storage space in the cabins is exceedingly generous and well thought out. The person could have said there was a lot of storage space in the cabins, but this other way sounds so much nicer. It sounds so much more elegant. The storage space was exceedingly generous and well thought out. The next adverb that you can use instead of very is undeniably. Instead of saying he's very talented, you can say he's undeniably talented. And that comes from the verb to deny. And to deny something is to say it's not true. So if it's undeniable, it's absolutely true. You can't deny it. It's obvious. It's clear to everyone. So you can say, he's undeniably qualified for the job. She's undeniably beautiful. And I found a sentence online that said, these events will have an undeniably profound effect on the economy. And another sentence from a book said, her eyes were undeniably stunning. And stunning means gorgeous, beautiful. The next word is utterly. Do you know that word? Let's pronounce it correctly first. That double T is pronounced like a flat T. It's like this, utter, utter. Make sure you pronounce that letter R also. Utter, utterly. Instead of saying, that's completely crazy, you can say, that's utterly absurd. The word utter means complete or entire. So utterly means completely, entirely. You can say, I was utterly amazed, or I was utterly convinced, or utterly confused. And one reviewer wrote, I find their writing utterly repulsive. What does that mean, utterly repulsive? If something is repulsive, it's terrible, it's disgusting, you hate it. So instead of saying, I hate their writing, you can make it a lot more intense by saying, I find their writing utterly repulsive. That's a really strong way to say that. The next word is dramatically. Let's pronounce it correctly first. Look at the DR. We don't say dr, we say dr. The DR combination becomes dr. For example, drink, drive, drama. So dramatically. Let's stress the second syllable, dramatically. Instead of saying your English has improved a lot, you can say your English has dramatically improved. And that means in a big way, in a sudden way, very much. So you can say dramatically different, dramatically worse, dramatically better. And I saw this sentence online. Knowing and being passionate about your goals will dramatically increase your productivity. Most soldiers experienced dramatically altered lives when they returned. And altered means changed. The next adverb you can use instead of very is unimaginably. Unimaginably. Let's stress the third syllable, unimaginably. And of course, that comes from the verb to imagine. When something is difficult to imagine or to comprehend, it's unimaginable. And the adverb is unimaginably. It makes me unimaginably sad. It is unimaginably hard to do this. And a sentence I found online said, human vision is made possible by an almost unimaginably complex biological system. Another one said, you are unimaginably naive. The next word is inconceivably. Instead of saying it was very difficult, you can say it was inconceivably difficult. And to conceive means to imagine something. So we say conceivable and inconceivable and inconceivably. I read an online review that said, the tickets were not cheap. In fact, they were almost inconceivably expensive. And there was an article in Jezebel magazine that described someone like this, an inconceivably wealthy and powerful person. So instead of saying he's very rich and powerful, you can say he's inconceivably wealthy and powerful. The next one you probably know and use. It's the word extremely. And extremely means very or to a large extent. I was extremely tired after the long hike. This problem is extremely difficult to solve. And some online reviews used extremely this way. The process of applying for any loans was extremely straightforward and easy. The next word you also probably know, particularly. Let's pronounce that one correctly. Let's look at that U sound. We're going to pronounce that like this, U, particu. Don't say particu. And that letter A will be reduced. So we're going to say particular. Don't say particular. Particular. Particularly. Let's say that again. Particularly. And particularly means especially, more than usual. Instead of saying that's a very dangerous job, you can say that's a particularly dangerous job. And particularly is often used in a negative sense. For example, you can say, I wasn't particularly happy with that. Or it wasn't particularly surprising. And I read a blog that said there's nothing particularly exciting about it. Do you know the next word? Vastly. Let's pronounce that open your mouth. Vastly. If something is vast, it's very large. It's large in size or amount or degree. We often use this word with vastly different, vastly superior, vastly inferior, vastly improved. And here are some sentences that I found online. Humans are vastly more social than most other mammals. And I read this on a travel website. Foreign laws and legal systems can be vastly different than our own. Let's go on to the next word. Tremendously. Tremendously. Let's look at that TR. We don't say T, we say tr. Tremendously. And let's reduce the OUS. Tremendous. And we stress the second syllable. Tremendous. Tremendously. If something is tremendous, it's very large, it's great, it's excellent. So we often say tremendously popular, tremendously helpful, tremendously beneficial. But we can also use it in a negative sense. We can say tremendously painful or tremendously difficult. And I saw an obituary online that said he was a tremendously thoughtful and creative leader. Is your English getting tremendously better? Let's go on to the next word, unmistakably. And that means you cannot mistake it for something else. It's amazing. It's clear. It's obvious. You can say unmistakably clear or unmistakably improved or unmistakably better or unmistakably obvious. And I saw something online that said the change was unmistakably evident. And another one from a magazine that said, that fact has always been utterly and unmistakably clear to you. Let's say that again. Utterly and unmistakably. Isn't it enriching and exciting to have a powerful vocabulary? When you can express yourself precisely, when you can say exactly what you mean, that feels so good. I want you to review this video. Write down the words that were new for you, that were difficult for you, and then use them in your own sentences. That's the best way to memorize them. And then you will be able to use them spontaneously when the opportunity arises. I'm working on expanding my course that I already sell on my website. It's called 200 Advanced Words You Must Know for Fluent English. I'm adding 300 more advanced words to that course. That's what I'm working on right now. And also an advanced English grammar course. That's been keeping me so busy. And that's why I'm not able to post YouTube videos every single week. But I'm so excited about these new courses that I'm creating because in addition to watching the videos, you'll have an opportunity to have the text, the PDF files, and also audio files, and all sorts of practice exercises and tests. That way you can really master the subject. I want to leave you with a motivational quote that I really like. It's by Benjamin Franklin, and he said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." I really like that one. Thanks for watching and keep practicing your English.